Emulate the taste of like non-chicken nuggets. So these nuggets are made from chicken, but they're made to emulate the taste of non-chicken nuggets. Dope.
Oh, that's much better.
Edit all the blather out of your videos because my time is very precious.
Oh, that's fire.
Make it less teal and more
Cerulean? Sure.
Replace your background with something more fun? The cold void of outer space.
Let's boost that sound quality. Emulate the taste of non-chicken nuggets. Emulate the taste of non-chicken nuggets. Dope.
It needs more style. It needs more clips, more gifs, more. Well, I might have made it too gnarly.
Hey, Rock, how's it going?
What's up, Harmony? How are you? Nice to see you.
Nice to see you as well. Happy Thursday.
Happy Thursday indeed.
Yeah. Well, welcome everyone to our first or one of our first joint events with the amazing SquadCast team. It's all about harnessing the power of Descript and SquadCast with your team. So Rock and I are delighted to be here today. My name is Harmony. I am a customer success manager and product specialist here at Descript. And I'm going to kick it over to my fabulous new colleague, Rock.
Yeah, so thank you, Harmony. So I'm Rock Felder. I'm co-founder and CFO, well, ex-CFO of SquadCast. Now I'm the financial operations manager at Descript. So still in the operations realm, still working with great sales and success folks like Harmony. So I'm stoked. I couldn't be lucky. I feel lucky to be here. Thank you so much.
Yay. And now I really can't imagine sales and success without you. We're already off to the races. You know, it's been a busy few months. So looking forward to getting teams trained up and set up for success in SquadCast and Descript.
Yes, indeed. Thank you.
Outstanding. Well, before we get started, I just want to take us through a couple little pieces of housekeeping, if that's cool. So just as a reminder, what we're going to be covering today, it's all about figuring out how to use SquadCast and Descript in tandem. So we're going to talk about how to link your accounts, whether you're already a Descript user and you need to now link to SquadCast, or vice versa. You're already a SquadCast user and you need to figure out how to set up your Descript account. And then I'm going to kick it over to Rock. He's going to go over kind of all of the basics in SquadCast roles, how to create sessions and recordings, and go over workflows. And then we're going to talk about editing in Descript. The beauty here is that there's just a single button that you hit that says edit in Descript when you're in SquadCast. It opens up your project. And we're going to talk about just how to essentially navigate Descript. There's 4 main surface areas that you can work from: the script, canvas, scenes, and a timeline. Go over a couple sort of best practices for editing your podcast or your recording, and then we'll open it up to Q&A. This is a full hour and a half, so we have plenty of time to dig in. If along the way you have questions, please use the Q&A section for questions. My amazing colleague Marcelo and Christiana are in the chat, so please throw your questions in there. And if for any reason we freeze along the way, sometimes browsers can get funny. Just go ahead and reload your browser or refresh. And then last, for more help, obviously we can only cover so much in the hour and a half. So for more information, go to help.descript.com. And of course, join our Discord community. There's a wealth of knowledge there as well. It's a really wonderful community of folks supporting one another. And then last, we'd love for you to be able to try out Descript and SquadCast for free. So if you're not using either platform yet, go ahead and use Collab 101 at checkout, and that'll give you a free month of the platform. So excited for y'all to try it out. I'm going to go ahead and stop sharing my screen there. So Rock, I think first, to kick us off, we're going to talk about how to link accounts. Is that right?
That's correct. But before we get started, and thank you for that wonderful intro, we want to hear what's the chat doing. Chat,
Yeah.
Where you at? Where you watching us from? What are you working on? Let's hear it. We want to hear from you.
Absolutely.
Make that chat explode.
I'm coming from San Diego. Rock, you're in Oakland, is that right?
Oakland, California. Yep.
Awesome. And you're originally from NorCal. Is that
Yes,
okay?
Sacramento, California is where I consider home, but I'm happy to be in the Bay Area. I love it here.
Amazing. Awesome. Great. So yeah, keep the chat coming. We'd love keep saying hello. Tell us what you're creating too. We'd love to understand the type of content you're creating and what hopefully Squadcast and Descript is going to solve for you.
Looks like we got Jenny Chetta, love that name, from Sunrise, Florida. So welcome, Jenny. Thank you. See
Amazing.
a few other questions in the chat, so we'll make sure to get to those shortly. Don't you worry. Anyone else?
Well, keep it coming. We'll be watching the chat.
No doubt.
Uh, awesome. So let's talk about linking accounts. I'm going to go ahead and pull up a different screen here. I'm actually going to open up Descript. Now, there's a couple different entry points. So I'm going to talk about how to link your account from Descript first. So let me go ahead and get this this window shared here. Awesome. Cool. So once you've got the Descript app open, you can get here in a couple different ways. One is if you click on new, you can select remote recording. And what that'll do is it'll open up SquadCast in a browser, and you'll be able to link an account if you already have an existing SquadCast account, and if you don't, it'll prompt you to sign up. And then you can also get there from if I go up to my avatar in the top right hand corner, go to my settings, and then if I go to my subscription tab, it's going to say connect to SquadCast. And so just a couple of things here. So again, if you don't have an account yet, go ahead and sign up. Otherwise, you'll be prompted to link an existing account and you'll be able to redeem that offer. One thing to note is that if you're part of a team drive, only your drive owner can do this. They can complete the action of redeeming the offer. So if you hit an error, it's most likely because your drive owner needs to redeem that offer. Rock, did I miss anything? Does that all sound right?
Looks like you nailed it. I think it's ready for me now.
Awesome. And for those that are brand new, what is SquadCast, Rock? I think I saw a question in the chat.
Yeah. Oh, thank you for catching that. So, SquadCast is a remote recording platform that helps teams and creators of all kinds connect and record remotely in studio quality. And I'll go over a little bit more about what that means, like what differentiates us from
Mm,
Zoom. But it is a tool specifically built with creators in mind. And it's all about helping you look and sound amazing, but still not having to record in the same room. We felt like that was a problem that we stumbled upon ourselves when trying to create a podcast remotely, and just saw that there were a lot of challenges and no tools that were really specifically focused on creative teams. And so then we made it ourselves, and it's been embraced so much by the community, and we're really grateful for that.
absolutely. Personally, I've been using it to replace Zoom. It's been really wonderful to just open up a session, share the link, and then I mean you can still do all of the scheduling stuff that you can do with Zoom and your calendar, but yeah, is that how you generally aside from using it for podcasts, is that how you've been using it, Rock?
Yeah, no, you can use it for all sorts of things. We did start off as for podcasters only, but
Mm,
we've expanded to helping video creators. We're also seeing folks use it for like internal communication, similar to what we
mm,
see folks using Descript for. And generally, what we see creative teams come to Squadcast for is they already are in some have already some process, some workflow going. But they're really looking to level up their quality from Zoom. And so that's why they look for something like Squadcast.
awesome. And I saw a question. This is good. We're getting some of the big ones out of the way before we dive in. Can it live stream?
Not in the typical way that we're live streaming today. So generally a live
Okay.
stream, you're broadcasting out and trying to cast as wide a net as possible. Whereas with Squadcast, we do have the ability for participants to join a recording session and watch it while it happens. But that's generally for like production teams, like a producer or like a podcaster coach generally wants to sit in on those sessions, but doesn't need to be on mic, on camera. have recording files generated.
Mm.
Sometimes the guest, if there's like an interview show, for example, when Barack Obama was interviewed on SquadCast many years ago, which was a super highlight for our team.
Yeah.
It wasn't just Barack hanging out by himself. Someone else came in on there, but they don't need to be recorded. So they get to sit in the backstage and watch more passively, but still participate. So that's more like a private live stream because we cap the backstage at 10 participants. So maybe there's some reasons to have that in a live stream context, but generally speaking, it's not, we don't consider it a live stream platform. That can change. We can definitely expand the number of seats that are allowed for the backstage. There's just no plans yet. But if you want something like that, like, please let us know. This is a team that responds very well to feedback, and we just love making people happy. So if that's what you want, trust me, we'll listen.
Absolutely. So yeah, go to that feedback.descript.com. Tell us what you want to see. Before we kind of dive in and have Rock start to walk us through how to get set up in SquadCast, I just wanted to show you guys, we just got back from Podcast Movement Denver last week. It was a blast. You're seeing some of my favorite humans now here on the screen. And Rock and I just wanted to do like a quick, less than 2-minute recap on kind of like, hey, how did things go? What could, and then be able to share it back with the team. So we opened up a session in SquadCast yesterday. We hit record. I brought it into Descript using the edit in Descript function. And I'll just play like a few seconds here. I've got some music. I've added some captions. So let's see what we've got.
Let's recap.
I don't know about you, just like the amount of people, the feedback that we were getting, and overwhelming in the best way possible. Cool. So again, literally, we recorded this in less than 5 minutes, brought it into Descript. I added a template, added some captions, added some scenes, and within, I don't know, less than 20 minutes, you can basically have a little baked cake ready to go and share it out. But let's roll back. Rock, do you want to take us through kind of the basics of getting set up in SquadCast?
All right, I'll take the wheel. Thank you, Harmony.
Awesome.
So I'm going to pull up my share screen that I have there. And for anyone, if there's any kind of freezing or choppiness, please let us know or refresh your own browser. I'm running 3 different SquadCast tabs in addition to the restream. So we're pushing it to the limits over here in Oakland, but I think we'll be okay. So anyways, so this is the SquadCast dashboard. So just imagine what Harmony showed us about linking your Descript accounts, and then you head over to SquadCast. This is where you will be placed. So this is the dashboard. This is like your central hub for all of the things that you can do on SquadCast. Now I'll take you into the recording session in a little bit here. That's where the magic really happens. But this is the dashboard is where all of your, what we call shows, sessions and recording files are stored. So I'll walk through that structure a little bit here. So on the dashboard, everybody has an organization. An organization is similar to the terminology that we use at Descript. It's similar to the drive terminology that we use at Descript. So there's just one organization is essentially an account. Now within an organization, a lot of times folks are working on different projects or have different shows. And so that's what we call them. We call them shows, which is indicated here on the left tab. So kind of like Slack, how you can jump from different channels very easily. This one, you can jump from different shows. So imagine you are ESPN. That is one of a SquadCast customer since 2020. So ESPN has their daily show, and then they have some other type of shows like Bomani Jones was recording on SquadCast, I believe. So you kind of want to keep those things separate. Now, you don't have to, but generally speaking, that's a good idea to keep your workspaces, if you will, your shows a little bit separate, because within those shows, you have recording sessions. So that's like an episode is the way we think about it, or maybe just like a one-off project. So that is the hierarchy there. Within every session are your recording files. And that's really what you're coming to SquadCast for, is to record high quality audio and video content. So within those sessions are recording files. So I'll show it to you a little bit more. You got a question, Harmony?
I've got 2 questions. So I noticed you're in a browser. As I've seen some questions where is SquadCast an app that I have to download, or it looks like we can also use it in browser.
Great question, and thank you for asking me that stuff because sometimes I forget because I'm just so used to this. But SquadCast is a web app, so there is no desktop app, there's no mobile app. However, it can be accessed on pretty much all browsers. While we started off in Chrome and generally get the best results using Chrome, we offer support on all the major browsers. So Firefox, Safari, uh, name a browser, chances are it's going to work great on it. And that's one of the unique things about SquadCast compared to some of our direct competitors is a lot of them are limited in the browsers that you can utilize it on. Additionally, it is accessible on mobile devices, but it is through a browser app. So typically what we see folks joining from a mobile device is like a guest. So it's perfect for the guests because they don't need to download any type of mobile app or desktop app. They don't need to create an account, install anything. All they do is click a link, very similar to Zoom, but it's all through your browser, so they can just join and then leave, and that's it.
Awesome. And then you mentioned the concept of shows. So would that be a way to like keep guests like isolated from one another?
Keep guests isolated, but also team members. So we
Cool.
do have the ability to invite team members. You can invite them to specific shows. So maybe you have a producer that's working on 2 shows, and then there's another producer that's only working on 1, and you only want them to access the specific shows that they work on. So you can absolutely do that. There's different roles with different levels of permissions. We have a great doc on that, an article rather on that lists all those out and what the controls are. But just so that for teams, that's an incredibly empowering feature to be able to assign different levels of permission and invite folks to collaborate and record sessions simultaneously. So you can have all these sessions that you see here listed on my screen share. They can be recording all at once with multiple people going about their work. So very, very powerful stuff.
Love it.
Cool. So I'm going to click to the show. This is where I kind of like to mess around. This is like my little playground. So I call it Lake Merritt Studios, recorded in beautiful Oakland, California. Shout out to Roman Mars. That's where I stole that from. I'm in Lake Merritt for anyone that knows the Oakland area. So that's why it's named this. So I've created a specific session for our session today, webinar for teams. I like to use this favorites button so that I can always have sessions that I want to access like quickly, or if I'm using the same link for a session, I find that very helpful. But we'll just go into here. Well, and also excuse me, I'm jumping ahead here. So like I said, there's shows on the left. Within a show, there's a session. So this show is Lake Merritt Studios. The session is webinar for teams. Now we don't have recordings for that yet, but we do have recordings accessible on the right side. So recordings are grouped into takes. So you'll see 7 takes for this one. If I click down, you can start to see all the recording files in there. I'll come back to this in a second, but just wanted to let you know that's how the hierarchy or structure works, if you will.
Now, so I can go back in history and see like stuff from the past if I'm out for a couple weeks or so.
Exactly. And we have a really cool search function too. So you can search for stuff too. If you know the title, know the participant's name, stuff like that. Don't want to navigate any more than just searching. We have that for you too. So there's multiple ways to access the things that you need. And that's a recurring theme with almost everything on SquadCast.
Nice.
So before I jump into the session, just wanted to make everybody aware that, well, first off, to schedule a session or to create a session, that is in the upper right. It's the plus new session button. Now you have the ability to create a session on the fly. If you just want to jump in there and start recording right now, that's that's a fun thing to do for sure. So we do offer that ability, but you can also schedule a session. A lot of times you are scheduling something in advance, and you can set the time, the date. You can record in video and audio or just audio only. So that's your choice. And then you can invite participants via email. Every time that you invite someone via an email, they will receive that email from SquadCast with the link to join the session. It'll also provide details about the session, as well as some instructions on how to have the best experience when recording remotely on SquadCast. Nice. You don't have to do that. You can just create the session and provide someone a link directly. You can email it to them. Like there's a lot of different ways to do it, but we just saw that a lot of our customers were doing a lot of scheduling. And so we thought we could help out by, taking that off their hands. All right. So when you share links, like I mentioned, there are 2 links for every session. There's the stage link. So that's where everyone's going to be on mic and on camera. You can switch to the backstage link. That's the one that I said that's like a private live stream experience, but just not the typical live stream that folks would think. They are different links and different joining experiences. I'm going to show you what it's like to join from a stage link. But the backstage is a little different because it will just say you are joining a backstage session with SquadCast, and then you basically just say join. It's a little easier.
And so the reason someone might want like backstage would be like if I want one of my producers to join and like they're kind of managing the talent, but they don't need to be on screen. They can maybe drop questions in the chat, or is that kind of
Exactly.
generally how you see that that function used?
That is exactly how we see it used and why we created it.
Awesome.
Because folks didn't want to have to take up a on-stage recording seat. And also, there's a lot of stuff going on underneath the hood here to provide this seamless experience. And so folks that maybe are joining from, not the best like internet connectivity, or just more folks like using up bandwidth at the same time. And if they don't need files created, then it's a smoother experience overall for those folks.
Cool.
Anything else, or should I jump right in?
Well, this might be irrelevant. Go ahead and jump in. And this is a good question that applies. So if I join a session on mobile, would it work well, or is that going to be too dicey for uploads?
It actually does work well, thanks to the progressive upload technology that makes it extremely lightweight to record in high quality, but still have a smooth experience on any devices. So that's one of the things about SquadCast is we never know where folks are coming from. So we want to make it as accessible, approachable, and as easy for as many people as possible. We don't rely on local storage to provide the recordings and the source quality that we do. So that's good. So it can work on iPhones, it works great on iPads, and even other like laptops that don't have the most resources like a Chromebook. It's been tested and provides great experiences for all of those type of devices.
Awesome. Yeah. Thanks for that question from the crowd.
Thank you. Alrighty, so I just joined the session that we created here. Now, before entering the recording studio, we start off in what we call the green room. So this is just a place to prepare. It is private, so no one else can see you. So you can just make sure that you look good, you sound good. You can do some test recordings here. You can select and choose your equipment. So say if I didn't want my Vocaster device, which I do, but just in case, maybe I wanted to switch to my Bluetooth headphones, my built-in one. Not necessarily, I wouldn't want to necessarily do that, but if there was other devices I'd want to use, that would be good. Nice. So this is just to provide confidence and comfort that when you are joining a session that you're ready to go. So I'm going to join the session now. I can already see 2 people are in here. So these are other versions of myself. One's in the backstage and one's just a guest who I have the camera muted. So let's see how it goes when I join the rest of me. Alrighty. So now we are in the recording studio. This is where all the magic happens. This is where you do the recording. This is where you get your files. This is where you have fun with your guest and team or whoever you're working with. So this is the guest me. I do have the camera turned off just to be less distracting. I think, what do we got? 2 of me now? So I don't think we need 3. But you can at least see who is in the session via the participants panel here. So this is open by default when you start a session as a host. Now, my guest cannot see any of this stuff. We didn't want to distract or overwhelm the guest participants with things to do, buttons to click. We really just want them to join, talk, and leave. That's it. You know, it's enough just trying to have create this wonderful content that you're going to be creating. But as the host, the kind of the person able to manage the situation, I have so much more controls. I have a few more panels that I can view, and one of them is the participants one. And what I love about the participants panel is that not only can I see my name, I can also see or my guest's name rather. I can also see my own stuff, but I can see their equipment. So I can see the device that they're on, the browser that they're using, this button called echo cancellation, which we recommend using if anybody doesn't have headphones. Now, we recommend headphones for every session because it does have an impact on the quality of the recordings, which is not intuitive. But in the event that someone joins without headphones and it happens, more folks would rather just continue without the headphones than rescheduling. So utilizing the echo cancellation button will allow you to proceed. We do recommend headphones and turning the echo cancellation button off because it does allow for the highest quality in those end recordings that you get. But again, it's still going to sound pretty good with it turned on. But yeah, we just like to give you a lot of options so that folks can join from as many environments as possible. Anyways, so as much as I love being able to see the equipment, one of the features that we released relatively recently was, okay, it's cool to see it, but like, what if the guest who isn't the most tech savvy person doesn't have the right equipment selected? Like, say when I drop down here, I see that they have a their built-in microphone. Now they're using the right camera, great. They got their headphones on, cool. But I want this microphone to be set up correctly. So before, folks were having to coach and kind of troubleshoot and play support with their guests, and that just is not a fun experience. That takes away time from recording and doing what you really are trying to do, right? So we offered the ability now that you can actually change the settings remotely of all the participants in a session. So podcast producers and show managers, people like that, they love this feature because it addressed a pretty big pain point here, where now I can say, no, guest Rock, you don't want to be using this microphone the built-in microphone. You're going to want to use your Vocaster device, and boom, I switched it for them.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
Quick question about that, Rock. So what type of role do you have to have, or do you have to be the creator of the session in order to have that permission of going in and kind of doing that for the guests?
Yes. So the show manager role is the role that has all of these type of controls. Again, a guest, they join via an anonymous link, so they don't have all of these controls. There is another role that we have on SquadCast called the show talent. And this is more so meant for someone who's, again, kind of just being like a guest. They're just going to be talking. They don't want to have the controls. It's a very more hands-off role. So the show manager is the role that has all of those type of controls.
Awesome. Can I throw in another question while we're here?
Keep it coming.
Awesome. So, for folks that are backstage, will backstage chats be private, or can you choose who sees them? What does that look like?
Right. So I can see that there is a backstage person here via the participants panel, and I have the ability to direct message them, and I can bring them upstage. I can send them back to the backstage. But you're right. There is another ability of chatting with folks here. So now you can do, you can chat with everyone. You can chat just with the stage. You can do specific chat groups. There should be a backstage one that pops up. Maybe I have to do this. I think I have to. Oops.
Didn't mean to throw you on the spot there.
No. This is what we do. So here's to now I can chat directly with the backstage folks as well. So yeah, there's definitely many ways to chat with folks and do it if you do it privately or do it with everybody. And that's just for communication that we maybe don't want being picked up on the actual live recording, like, hey, your mic's muted, or hey, hit this talking point, stuff like that.
Nice. Can I throw one more at you?
You don't need to ask. Keep it coming.
All right. So I'm seeing lots of questions about the hours, months, recording limits, that people might hit. So here's one. So what are the hours/month recording limits in SquadCast?
Yes. So now it's with our Descript. Now it's with the Descript pricing. So I believe the Pro plan comes with 30 hours, and the Creator comes with 12. And then you get 2 with the free plan.
Awesome.
I got that right. It matches transcription, so
it matches. Okay. So it'll be 30 on Pro and 10 on Creator. Yeah.
Okay. Apologies.
Yeah. No,
that's why we got Harmony here, y'all.
Awesome.
Okay. So anything else before I jump into the recording experience?
I've been interrupting you enough. Please proceed.
No, not at all. And I should just say there's a lot of other ability that you have to kind of customize and adjust the session here. So if you don't want to be looking at yourself, you can click that off or let me see. Oh no, it's pinned this one. Sorry. So I could just pin the guest if I just wanted to look at them and not see myself that big, but maybe I do. And then there's a settings button down here so that you can always adjust your settings if you didn't do that in the green room area. So now I'm going to click the record button. It's the big red button, or big-ish red button down here. There's some other controls like hiding the camera, share screen, taking a squad shot. This is a fun way to capture a picture of everybody in the recording session, and folks like to share that on social or other ways to promote their show. But I'm going to start recording. And actually, I'm going to open this recordings panel here while we are recording so you can see what is happening.
Nice.
All right. So right now we are recording. You see that indicated here with the timer. The button changed down here. And now we have files generating. So now what you're going to see is that this is for the audio files that are recording. This is for the video files. And you see that it is recording and uploading as we are speaking. So let me take a step back here on the main differentiator between SquadCast and Zoom. So the main differentiator is the recording quality. And what SquadCast does is it is what we call local recording. So it captures everyone's recording at the source. So this is like at the individual's device, their laptop, their iPad. And so this really gets the highest raw source quality possible, because you're not having to record this over the internet the way that you would be with a typical recording on Zoom. And so now Zoom's a great tool. I'm a big fan of it, but their focus is just not the recording. Their focus is on having a video meeting, a video chat. That's the difference between SquadCast. We are quality by default. We are focused on quality. We are helping people create high quality content so that you can look and sound amazing when recording content remotely. Additionally, in addition to that local recording, we are also progressively uploading and simultaneously saving to the cloud. So this is how we're able to record such large files on lightweight devices like an iPad, an iPhone, the Chromebook that I mentioned earlier. But it's also just to be a more reliable, secure, and fast experience so that when you do stop the recordings, you pretty much are good to go there. The audio files upload extremely fast, like within seconds. The video files are pretty fast too, but it does take a little bit longer because those files can be 720 or 1080p with high quality wave audio muxed in. And so there's a lot going on there. So it can take a few minutes, but generally speaking, it is super fast, and you don't have to have anybody sticking around, keeping their browser open, that kind of thing. And also, if there is ever a point of failure, like your internet crashes, your browser crashes, the content is saved up until that point of time, up until the failure rather, so that you don't have to like re-record anything or miss out on any content. Simply, if you ever do have one of those unfortunate experiences, all you need to do is refresh, and you can pick up where you left off. And then the recording will continue going for the folks that have remained in the session, but that person that dropped off can join and pick up where they left off. So that's the local recording and progressive upload. The progressive upload is one of our patents at SquadCast, so that does make us unique and novel compared to definitely Zoom, but some of the more direct options that are available as well. Now, secondly, we also are by default recording all participants into separate tracks, or ISO tracks is another biz term. The benefit of this is that you're able to easily import those files into an editor like Descript, and it's never been easier to do that with Descript, and that's the easiest and fastest to do. But now you can import your files separately so that you can edit them individually, and this is one of the favorite features that SquadCast customers have, because most people do have some type of editing work part of their workflow, and so this allows you to edit things independently, and then you can combine them into one file that's ready to publish.
This is one of the things even folks at Descript, they've been saying for years. It's like, I can't imagine like not being able to edit tracks separately. So be able to like automatically pull it in from SquadCast into a sequence. It's like chef's kiss.
Oh, yes, the chef's kiss indeed. And I'm glad to hear that. And one of the other things that is another patent differentiator and super benefit of SquadCast is that when you do import those files, there's no audio drift. There's no
Mm.
like having to fix or realign the audio with the video, or even the two tracks together. Like sometimes an unfortunate consequence of platforms like SquadCast that are locally recorded and two separate tracks rather, is that they can be misaligned when you go to edit them. Now, this can totally be fixed, so it's not like you're totally SOL here, but it does add time to the production process, and it's not really something that folks want to work on, right? You're trying to make the production better, not fix something that shouldn't have necessarily been there in the beginning. So
Mm.
with SquadCast, there is no audio drift. Everything should line up and be super seamless and just ready for you to add value and edit from there.
Nice.
All right. So I'm going to hit stop now that we've been recording for about 5 minutes, just to give us a good example here.
So now that you've pushed stop, I think, Rock, you've already answered this question, but is that recording then saved to the cloud?
It is. It is. So as the recording is happening, it is simultaneously uploading and saving to the cloud. So as you could see, that this was within seconds after all files, video, audio, for myself that's on camera, and then my guest self down here. Everything is uploaded, and you can see that here. So now you can actually play back to the videos if you want. So I can see myself here. I can listen to myself on this one for the playback for the audio file. I can do that also for my guest, although the video is less interesting because there's really nothing there. And then we just added this button to where you can edit in Descript so that you can automatically send these files over to a project in Descript and start editing and make take it from there. Some additional details on the recording files. So now you can do this all from the dashboard, but additionally, so like playback, you can do that from the dashboard, but you can also edit in Descript. You can download your files. If you don't want to download those files, but share it with somebody, there's a quick and seamless way to share links to those files. So if like you have an editor who you want to send files to, you can send them the share link, and then they can download them on their end. So it's a much more quick and lightweight way to share files. You can also delete. If there's ever any recording that's stuck rendering, this button really helps out and kind of manually pushes it. Shouldn't happen too much, but it can be super helpful for expediting the upload process. So we just added there as a extra layer of security. Now, additionally, in addition to these primary locally recorded files that I just mentioned, we're always recording backups in the background on SquadCast. It isn't as good a quality as the primary recordings. However, they're really beneficial if for some reason something happens, like maybe there's a missing piece of the recording or something just doesn't sound right. The backups can come and really help provide fill in the gaps there and just be an extra layer of security. Fortunately, less than 1% of sessions recorded on SquadCast access the backups, but so it's really there for a peace of mind. This is just one of those things that we discovered while in the early days of SquadCast. A lot of folks were doing this on their own more manually, and we said, hey, we can help out with this, and we can also automate it, not just for you, but for all the participants. And so that was just just offering some, it's kind of like insurance, I guess. Like you just never hope to use it. And we're not charging you extra for it either. It's just kind of included. So that is the majority of what it's like to record on SquadCast. What did I miss, Harmony?
I mean, you've covered a lot. Is it okay if I jump in with some questions from the crowd?
Let's do it.
Amazing. So this happened to me the other day, so I'm glad someone asked about this. So sometimes you'll see the app is not focused on screen. What does that indicate? What should I do about that?
Yeah, so this is something with the browsers that is a relatively recent thing that's emerged where, especially Chrome, they push more resources to the tab that is focused. So we saw a lot of folks that were having issues recording on SquadCast, and through our investigation, we found this out that it's because of Chrome changing the way that they kind of dedicate resources. And so so why we have that indicator is to incentivize and promote folks to keep SquadCast as the the focused session tab. Now I know that can be difficult because maybe you got like a script or an outline on in a doc or something like that.
Yeah.
But generally speaking, it is a best practice to keep it as the focus tab. Now, why it popped up for me was because while I have a focus tab here, it was popping up for my guest because that's not the focus tab because I'm focused on this tab. So
Nice.
it shouldn't have popped up if I was recording with you, Harmony. So it's a good question, and I'm glad we got to see that. But it's a good example of how the app communicates to ensure the best experience. There's a lot of other communications like, if the recording is still uploading, it will prevent folks from trying to leave a session too early,
Mm,
stuff like that.
cool. So a couple like really quick hits. Is it possible to rename takes?
It is.
Awesome.
Yep. Take name.
Awesome. Is that super easy? Awesome. And then a couple other ones, let's see here, related to kind of like controlling um, settings for the guest. Can you, let's see here, pull this one up. Can you turn the echo cancellation off if someone does have headphones on, or does it matter?
Absolutely. So um, the best way to do that is via the participants panel here. And I could just click that button and now it's off,
Got it.
or I can turn
Okay.
it back on. And you can do it per person. So like uh, on screen me has it off screen me has it on. So it could fit different situations of for folks.
Nice. Let's see here. Oh, this is a good one. Is it
They're all
possible
good.
to I mean, they're all fantastic, but actually, I don't know the answer to this one. So I'm
Aha.
also curious. Is it possible to record the guest on camera and also have a second channel for their screen share?
Yeah, so this is a good question. I'm glad that they asked because I did kind of skip over that you do have the ability to screen share, and the recording for the screen share is its own separate file,
Mm,
similar to what I mentioned for all of the recording files here.
very cool. That'll come in handy. Yeah, I'm thinking like, yeah, especially for if you're creating training material or anything of that nature, that makes a lot of sense.
Definitely.
Um, let's see here. So I'm seeing some like how does Squadcast compare to other offerings out there? I saw this one about how does it differ from Riverside. I'm also seeing this one around is there anything that sets Squadcast ahead as a solo recording platform as well? So maybe you can address those two, if that makes
Yep.
sense.
Yeah, definitely. I'll
Cool.
start with the solo recording part first. So you can definitely record solo on SquadCast. We have folks do it. I've even done it for like different kinds of content, like maybe I'm recording an intro or like an ad or something like that for our podcast. Not that we have ads, but we would do ads for like other people.
Mm,
So you can definitely do it, but you can do it in Descript too. So you really have a lot of options at your disposal to do that. It is not a focus on SquadCast to record solo. Part of why we exist and the magic that we offer is recording people remotely, so multiple participants in multiple locations, but all in high quality. So that really is where we shine, but there's no reason why you couldn't record solo if you want to. But just wanted to note, you can also do it on Descript too. So it's you got a lot of options here. Now, as far as the difference between us and Riverside, there are a lot of similarities, especially the way we talk and in our messaging. I think the big differentiator is like how the app actually functions and performs, like what's going on underneath the hood. So they use similar terminology as progressive upload, and they do have some type of functionality that's like that. But ours is patented, so it is again unique, novel, and an innovation that SquadCast started. I would say that was one of our other differentiators, is we were innovators for this space. So like the automated backups that I mentioned, that was a thing that SquadCast innovated, as well as adding video to the session. Now, we weren't the first to make video recording, but we've always had a video experience, just because we felt like that provided a better overall experience for customers, their guests, build up rapport, and also you get to see everybody's face. We just felt like that was a lot more fun. Additionally, I think the biggest thing between us and Riverside is, unfortunately, we've heard that they do sometimes include audio drift into their files. So again, that can be fixed, but it is time, and generally time that folks don't want to spend. So with SquadCast, another patent that we have is to normalize and remove any type of occurrence of audio drift. So, very, very much more ready to edit and good to go with those files on SquadCast.
Awesome. No, that was a question that we got at Podcast Movement, right?
Right.
Quite a bit. Yeah.
And quite frankly, it got tougher to differentiate between us and SquadCast, or us and Riverside, because, they have done a good job and they've moved quickly. But one of the things that we were behind on was our editing capabilities. Folks would ask us about, okay, I hear about this magic editor feature, or this magic clips feature that Riverside offers, which is sounds great. I haven't used it myself, and it was one of the things at SquadCast we were unsure if we wanted to dip our toes into the editing world, just because we feel like there's so many other platforms that we just wanted to integrate and make it seamless for our customers to use the platforms they were already using. But now I feel like it's gotten even easier to differentiate SquadCast from that, because now we have the power of Descript at your disposal, and it's 2 products with 1 subscription. So hard to beat that. And over time, it will only be 1 product and 1 subscription, as we make that integration even more seamless and start to merge the SquadCast remote recording technology into Descript. So it's a game changer now, and the game is going to keep changing. So it's going to be a fun time.
Absolutely. Yeah. We're excited about the future here. There's a lot to do, but we've got the great team. So we're super excited about the future. Awesome. So I see there's still a ton of questions coming up. Let's grab a couple more, and then let's pull some of these recordings into Descript. I think you touched on this here, Rock, but let me pull this one up. When recording, is there an internet backup in case something happens with uploading files?
Yes. So those are the cloud recordings. They are essentially a backup file and can really help with that. I just got a question from our wonderful Marcelo that, can we record in 4K? Maybe someone in the chat saw it too, so forgive me, chat. I'm not seeing your stuff, but when Marcelo texts me something, I got to answer it. So not today do we officially record in 4K, but that is something that we are literally working on right now and will be available very soon. So can't wait to offer that, and please be sure we'll be making a lot of noise when that comes out very soon here.
Awesome. Super excited about that one. Okay. Last couple. So if the person doesn't have headphones, how about Bluetooth earpods?
So this is going to be one of those do as I say, not as I do, because I am wearing Bluetooth headphones. So it definitely works. And that's all good. We do recommend, though, that if you can, using wired headphones. And if I was recording a session or whenever we record our podcast, I make sure to plug in my headphones or use a wired type of device for my headphones, just because there's a lot of opportunity for stuff to happen with Bluetooth. Sometimes it doesn't record the best quality. Also, sometimes it can die if you're one of those folks that isn't the best at charging your devices. There's just more opportunities for things to go wrong, and wired headphones, you don't even have to worry about that. And it's just a better overall experience as well. So we definitely recommend headphones, and specifically wired headphones. Now you can even use the Apple earbuds that come with the iPhone. well, I guess ones that are with an aux cord, because the more recent ones wouldn't plug into your laptop directly. But anyways, you don't have to have the best quality headphones to get a great experience. We also recommend microphones, as I'm using an external microphone. Again, you can record directly into your device's microphone. It's just not going to be as good a quality as you could get out of a proper external microphone. And also make sure that you use good mic technique. That's another thing where, yeah, I have all the equipment, but if I'm not using it right, if I'm talking over here instead of here, it's just not going to work out the same. So a couple of things to consider.
Those are good pro tips. I remember when I first got my NV7, I noticed like I'd be talking over here a little bit, trying to like kind of maneuver around my desk, and it's like, hey, I just got to be here.
Yeah, I used to use a headset so that the microphone would follow me wherever I went, because I was I was a wild boy. I still might be not the best mic techniquer, but I'm a little more aware of it now.
Awesome. Very cool. Got one more here. I use vMix and can pull Zoom right into vMix as an input. Is this possible with SquadCast / Descript recordings?
Yes, I believe so. I think I believe I've heard of folks using a similar type of workflow in SquadCast.
Awesome. Very cool. And yeah, and then there's a ton of audio effects that you can use once you bring it into Descript as well. So great
Perfect.
questions. Keep them coming. All right. Should we maybe try and edit some stuff in Descript now?
Let's do it. I can't believe we're already 51 minutes into this thing. This has been a
I
blast.
know.
You're
This is
just too fun, Harmony.
Well, there will be many more to come, I hope.
All right. Okay, so I'm going to stop sharing my screen so you can stop seeing 2 or 3 of me, however many you're seeing. It's probably a lot.
No, it's great. Amazing. Okay, so for those of you that might have joined a little late, we are talking about using SquadCast and Descript for your team. Rock just gave a great demonstration on how to navigate SquadCast, create a session, start recording, be able to download those files really quickly, and now it's time to start editing them. So I'm gonna go ahead and share my screen. I'm gonna make sure I'm sharing my browser window and Descript, because I want to show how easy it is to bring this directly into Descript. So here we go. Share this here. Okay, awesome. So Rock and I just recorded that quick chat the other day, really quick. I went into my take. I selected both of my tracks. And now you'll notice down in the workflow section, this edit in Descript option. So you're just going to click on that button here. And at this point, you can decide what you want to bring over. Maybe there's like a third track that is your screen recording that you don't necessarily want to bring over. So you can check off which tracks you want to bring over to Descript. So in this case, I want to bring both my audio and video. I'm going to select that here. And what that's going to do is it's going to open up a new tab in my browser. From here, this is kind of like the most important thing before you actually start editing. You're going to set up the location of where this project is going to be stored. So I have a lot of drives set up. I have different folders. So in this case, I actually want this to be in the Descript team drive in the drive workspace, because I've added Rock to this drive. And so now we can go in and essentially kind of edit this down together. So I'll set that location, and then I'm going to set my transcription language in English. We do transcribe in up to 23 different languages. So maybe if we had been having this conversation in German or Spanish or one of the other languages, we could say, select that language and then create project and import files. Now, the beauty of this is that it's going to automatically create a Descript project for you. It's going to be uploading the files for you in the background and transcribing it all at once. So once I hit create project and import files, I'm actually not going to hit that. What it's going to do is it'll open it up here in Descript. So what it will do, since we had 2 separate files, one for Rock, one for myself, it's going to create a sequence. And what that looks like under the hood is like this. So here's Rock's track here. And then here's my track down here as well. And you can kind of zoom in, zoom out. So if you're used to a traditional DAW, this will kind of be that comfort zone. You can go in and use different tools here to navigate the tracks, create edit points, remove ranges of audio and video. So just wanted to show what that looks like under the hood. But if you're brand new to Descript, the main sort of surface areas I want to talk about are four of them. So like I said, Descript was going to automatically transcribe your interview for you. So you're going to get this transcript back. So I can go in here, take a listen. I don't know about you, just like the amount of people, like the feed. Cool. And so the great thing is that it's text-based editing. So if I want maybe just to start from here, I can highlight the text that I want to get rid of, hit delete, and now it'll start here. I don't know about you, just like, and instead of doing full deletes, my best practice is like using the strike feature. That way, especially if Rock and I are collaborating on this project together, we'll be able to track each other's editorial decisions. So when you highlight that range of text, you get this script toolbar here. A lot of different things that you can do from here, but using that ignore function is one of my favorite when creating sort of a rough draft here. So we're going to spend some time here in the script, but I also want to introduce some of the other surfaces here. The other one here is the canvas. So this is where we're going to see our video layers and any other elements that we bring into Descript. So we want to maybe add captions. We want to add maybe like progress bar. Maybe I want to add a template with like a nice framing. So a bunch of different things I can do in here. And you'll notice that when I click here on the canvas, I see my properties panel change. So based on where you're clicking around, this panel will change when needed. You can also click up here on the properties icon and you can collapse it. So if you don't want to see it, no problem. Just click on it and it'll collapse. Then down here, you've got your timeline. So if you're used to, again, working in a traditional DAW, this might be a little bit more comfy for you. So you can expand it, zoom in. So if you want to kind of get really close in on a take, maybe I want to shorten this up here. And the nice thing is that it's all non-destructive editing. So when we get rid of stuff, we'll keep it around for you if you want to bring it back. And then you can also just hide the timeline completely. I don't know about you, Rock, but when I started out, timelines like were really intimidating. So if it were a few years ago, I probably just would have hit hide timeline. But yeah, how about you? How do you usually like to go about making a first edit?
Yeah, well, I'm definitely no expert in editing audio or video. So that's what I love about Descript is it does make me feel almost like an expert. Now, I know the experts are going to add that 10-20% extra polish that's really going to make it sizzle, but I can get it pretty high quality and makes me feel like a powerful editor with very little. So yeah, I'm not a timeline person myself, and that's what I love about Descript is it's very easy and approachable. And I love that tip for the strike through. I've been using that a lot whenever I'm working in Descript too, just because it's nice to see what you've had, but especially if you don't want to include it, right? But then deleting it completely, sometimes it's hard to it's easy to forget what you did there. So that's a great tip.
Totally. Yeah. So use the ignore function. It's your friend. And then the last thing I want to show you guys, I'll go ahead and unignore this. That's the fun power of this. So just highlight it and whoops, I think I needed to click. There we go. Unignore. My mouse is going crazy. There we go. Nice. So unignore, that'll automatically bring the audio and video back for you. And then one other important surface area is this, what we call our scene rail. So you're noticing there's a total of 6 scenes. And what I did when I imported this, instead of having us side by side, like you kind of traditionally will see in a remote recording, I wanted the frame to change whenever the speaker changes. And so this is a really nice feature that's built into Descript. So if I click on this star menu here, I can add scenes by active speaker. So that way it'll just automatically switch based on whoever's speaking. And we add in what we call these speaker labels, which makes it really easy to distinguish in the conversation when and if someone new is speaking. And I think I saw a question before we came over into Descript, this was about, here it is. Can you rename the speaker's name before transferring into Descript? Is that possible, Rock?
Yes.
Okay. Awesome. So before I clicked off, checked off the 2 tracks, I'd be able to make that update.
Yep. Yeah, you can do that. I think doing it before you start recording is probably the best way to do it, because the file takes whatever the name of the person has selected, but you can always rename your takes. So there's a few ways to edit it in SquadCast.
Awesome.
Or
And then
update it. I shouldn't say edit when we're talking about
edit.
editing.
That's true. Well, and the good news is that you can do it at a couple different points. So even if, let's say, it for whatever reason my name was misspelled, or it just like captured the name of my microphone, I can click on this speaker label here and go into the settings and update it from here. So maybe if I want to include our last names, I'll go ahead and add those and filter here, and we'll say done. And then that way that'll get reflected throughout the entire transcript. So no worries, you can also do that in Descript as well. Cool. All right. So I'm noticing that there are some some kind ofs, you knows. Usually that's like the first thing I like to clean up when I get a recording over here. I'm painfully aware of how much I say and now. So you can also use the magic menu for this as well. Hit on go to that star menu, remove filler words, and look at that. We've got 30 filler words here. And so what you'll want to do is if we click on all filler words, it's going to actually point out which filler words we used the most. So if I unselect all, I might just want to select the repeated words, the uhs, likes, ums, and so's. And we don't have to worry about the rest, which is nice. And then from there, this is a recent change. So for y'all that have been using Descript for a while, you have to select delete, and you're going to see that ignore function down here too. So this is a menu. And so I'm going to say ignore, remove all. And let's see how this is sounding here.
Very similar. So it was very, like you said, overwhelming, but overwhelming with positivity.
Cool. So see, it just skips right over that audio and video. And then when you get to the very end, let's say you've gone through, you've ignored all of your filler words. Maybe you've also gone through and even shortened some word gaps. So if there's some extended pauses, you can say, hey, find anything longer than, in this case, maybe I'll do 2 seconds. And there's just this one instance here. And so I can shorten that down to 1 second. So there's always awkward pauses inevitably sometimes during interviews. So you can shorten those out. So I'll get rid of that. And then as I go through and kind of get my edit together, at the very end, I might use our keyboard shortcut, Command K, which is one of my favorites, or Control K. And I'm going to say remove ignored text. And then that will automatically just remove everything that I've ignored, both from the transcript, and it'll remove that audio and video as well. Cool. I see a great question here. Will Descript do any automatic leveling for me? So great question. This is actually something you can configure in your settings, but the short answer is yes. So if I go up here to my Descript menu, go to settings, let's see here. Yes. So automatic volume levels, you can toggle that on. I'm pretty sure this is by default toggled on. Otherwise, you can come in here and configure that from the app settings. Great question. Alrighty. Bring that off screen. So from here, I kind of, a couple other things. I might want to add some captions, maybe a nice like as sort of framing. So I created a template in advance. Rock, do you ever use templates for stuff?
I do now, ever since I found out that they have them at Descript. I feel like Descript is kind of like that classic iceberg example where, maybe what attracts us to it is one thing, that's the tip of the iceberg, but then there's so much going on underneath the surface. And I'm sure you'll get onto that. But yeah, I think like templates is one of those things that is a really cool feature that adds this like level of polish and professionalism that you're not going to get from a typical slide deck.
Absolutely. And I love that analogy, slide deck. Like, I think through the use of tools like SquadCast and Descript, we want video to be in everyone's communication toolkit. It shouldn't be difficult. It should be as ubiquitous as documents or Google slide decks. So with that, let's make these slides sing here. So I'm going to go up to my templates menu here. Templates are organized into two different sections. So you've got templates that are custom to ones that are created by members on your drive. And then there's also a gallery of pre-built templates. So these are like pre-baked for you here. So in this case, I created one for Rock and I. I'm going to go ahead and scroll down, and I'm going to choose, let's do this one here. So what this will do is it's automatically applied the captions. I'm going to match the orientation because I want to set this up for a square, because maybe we want to put this on Instagram a little later. And so let's see how this is looking.
Similar. So it was.
Whoops. And actually, so now I want to apply this template to my other scenes. So really easy. I can right click on this. I can copy. And then all you got to do is paste this. It'll paste all of those attributes. So it's just going to, it'll bring the captions. It'll bring the frame over. I'm going to paste that. Got a few more. All right. Let's paste that one. Cool. So now that's carrying over. I've got my frame. I think it should have the captions as well. So let's catching up here.
Very similar. So it was very, like you said, overwhelming, but overwhelming with positivity.
Right. So if I've got common logos, standard brand colors that I use, I can just build a template, one click, and you're done. I might also want to add, I can go in, especially for shorter clips. What we hear from people a lot is like, we produce a lot of long form content and we want to be able to shorten it down for our social channels. One of the things that I love to do is just highlight a range of text. And then I can use this duplicate to function. So this is basically just going to extract only these 2 paragraphs of Rock talking here. I'm going to open this up. And awesome. And so now I could take this, repurpose it, publish it out. I could maybe even duplicate it and do a landscape or portrait mode one. So you can duplicate and then repurpose for different platforms that you're sharing your content out to. And one more thing I'm going to add, I'm going to go up to my shapes here. Can add a progress bar, move that up here. And so the nice thing, again, these are all very customizable. So I might want to change the color of the progress bar here, get this to match. You can use the color picker if you'd like. And it's as easy as that. Rock, how we doing? Any questions you're seeing so far?
I'm not. I might be looking in the wrong area because the chat is relatively quiet with questions. Either that or you're just, well, you are definitely crushing it, but I'm not seeing any questions. So maybe I'm looking in the wrong spot. I'm a first time restreamer, y'all. So forgive me.
Awesome.
I'm learning on the go, but if there are any questions I'm missing, Christiana and Marcella, let me know, but chat's quiet right now. So I think they're happy and focused on you.
All right. Well, I can keep talking then.
Keep on.
So a couple other things too. We talked about automatic volume leveling. There's a ton of other really useful built-in AI effects that can get bring your content to the next level. So one of my favorites is actually what we call our studio sound tool. Rock, I don't know about you. I use this all the time. It's saved me in a couple scenarios. I recorded something in my kitchen recently, and like that you could hear the washer going. So turned on studio sound, and essentially it's a background noise remover and speech enhancement. Have you ever like gotten into a pinch like that?
Too many times for sure. Someone barges in my room, even though the recording. I put a recording posted on my door. Those get ignored. The classic work from home type of stuff. And then if like I don't know, the lawnmower typically likes to go on when I'm recording a podcast too. And the example that I saw that blew me away with studio sound, I think it was somebody recording near a waterfall. And
Yeah.
then with the click of the studio sound button, you couldn't tell, and it sounded really awesome. So that was one of the features that I think blew people's socks off at Podcast Movement. So I don't know if there's other features like that just like totally blow people's minds, but this is definitely one of them from my experience.
For sure. And I'd love to share just like a quick, this is kind of a scenario where like you have all of the elements working against you. You're outside, there's wind. I'm just gonna play this real quick so y'all can hear this without studio sound, and then we're gonna turn it on. So real quick.
Everybody knows how crucial short putting is to shoot lower scores, no matter what level golfer you are.
All right, so we have wind, we have, I think, a car in the background as well. So it's as simple as toggling studio sound on. Now, if you want a little bit of, like, let's say the room reverb or a little bit of background noise, you can dial this back maybe to like, 90, 95%. Otherwise, the default is going to be at 100. So let's see how this is sounding now.
Everybody knows how crucial short putting is to shoot lower scores, no matter what level golfer you are. You want to make more short.
So hopefully everyone heard that. It's sometimes it's a little better with headphones on, but it brings up the proximity effects. It makes it sound like hopefully you're using a better microphone at that point. And for me, it sounded like a little over processed. So when that happens, I usually like to dial the intensity back even a little bit further. So that's the one thing to kind of watch out for is if you do record in a pretty decent setting and you don't necessarily need to have it 100, maybe dial it back to like 50, 60%.
Oh, that's a good tip. I've actually haven't kind of tinkered with that enough. So I'm learning something here from you too. So thank you. I do got a couple questions if I can interrupt.
Please. Yeah, let's go for it.
All right. So first one I see from Red Bunny Classic. Thank you for your question. Is there a way to have different caption styles in the same video?
Oh yeah, great question. Let's say like you're kicking it off here in scene 1, right? You're saying, let's recap. And then maybe here in the second scene, maybe I want the captions to be up at the top, and I want like my captions to be highlighted with like a different color. I'll change that to purple. So actually, I liked the placement of that in the first place. I'm going to bring it back down here. So check it out. So it'll go from let's go from here the best way possible. But yeah, what was your take?
Very, very similar. So it was very, like you said, overwhelming, but overwhelming.
So see, it like the style, my captions are in purple, Rock's, I'm leaving it in blue, and I can just kind of swap. And then if I like the way that I've like dialed in the color for my captions, again, I can use that copy option, copy, and then paste it into my other scenes so that I don't have to like redo with the color picker every time.
That's amazing. I'm just tired of hearing how much I'm saying very in that particular clip, but nonetheless, it gets the point across. So thank you.
Yeah.
Second question, and I'm not sure who it came from. By the way, thank you for your question, Red Bunny Classic. Hopefully that answers it for you. Keep them coming if you got more. Another question who I'm not sure came from, but our lovely team working in the background here wanted us to make sure we asked, is the AI feature for correcting the speaker's pupil gaze active now?
Oh, I'm so glad you asked.
Me
Yes,
too.
it is. It is. I think it is still technically in beta, but let me show you an example here. Cool. Let's grab this. So I've just got a short video here. This is our friend Julia here, and so what I'm going to do, if you highlight, I'm going to just highlight this range of text. Again, you'll notice that the properties panel changes over here. So this is our eye contact feature that you'll just want to toggle on. So check this out. I'm gonna play this.
Being reactive is unfortunately just part of the game. So I think there's like some percentage of all of our days that.
Okay, so she's looking around the room a little bit. So I'm gonna go back here. I'm going to put my cursor just like right there. So check this out. I'm going to turn on eye contact. You see that? Her eyes came to the center. So I'll turn it off and then back on. So now see. So then we'll play from here.
Being reactive is unfortunately just part of the game. So I think there's like some percentage of all of our days that is spent being reactive, because at the end of the day, that's just marketing. Like we all.
So notice she is blinking a lot, but then once her eyes open, then they're centered on the screen. And like I am so guilty of this often, from doing webinars, looking off to the left or right at an outline. So by just simply toggling on that feature, that will correct your eye gaze.
Excellent.
All right. What else? I know we haven't touched on like exporting and publishing yet, but happy to keep taking some questions.
I'll keep looking at the questions. There are a few more. Some have been answered, but we're happy to answer them again. But I think we should continue with the show to show them the export as well. So I'll hold off for questions for now. Thank you for answering.
Yeah. Let's keep it going. Cool. So let's say I've got something here that I'm ready to share. Maybe I even want to tag you in Rock here and say like, hey, I'm ready to export. I'm gonna @mention Rock here. Can you review? And then Rock you'll get notified that you've been mentioned in this project. You can pop in, respond just like you would in Google Docs. And that's what I really love about Descript is that like we can do everything from like pre-production. You could literally like script something out in Descript and then use that, for your recording in SquadCast, come back into Descript, have that necessary review and approvals process. And now I'm ready to publish and get this out of here. So if I come up to the top right-hand corner, I'm going to hit publish, and I can either export or publish. And so the difference is with publishing, I can publish directly to different hosting sites. So I can go direct to YouTube. I can go direct to, let's say, Wistia, some of these other hosting sites. You'll notice some are grayed out. These are going to be audio only hosting. And then you also have this web link option. I really love this option here because what you can do is you can basically shoot over a web link of, let's say, a work in progress or something that's relatively final, and then get some feedback on it. And you just open up in your browser. So it's a nice way to do quick review and approval. Or if you want to export, there's a ton of different ways you can do this as well. So you can export your video. That'll download the MP4 locally to your machine. You can go in and configure some of your settings here. You might want to change your audio sample rate. You can also add some metadata if you want, and then export. And again, it'll download locally to your machine. You can also just export an audio only version of this, or you can create GIFs. And then we play well with others too. So if you're working in a studio and you need to go out to Pro Tools and send a session off to one of your sound designers, you can export to Pro Tools, Audition, Premiere, a few others, and then that'll create the edit you created in Descript. But then since it's a non-destructive editor, you can go in and continue to adjust the tips and tails of your tracks in that preferred editor at the end of your process. You can also get transcripts and subtitles out. So this is one of the reasons I love Descript so much, is just from an accessibility standpoint, ensuring that your viewers, your audience, they're able to have those captions or a transcript, depending on how people typically take that information in.
And I just want to highlight one of the things that you said, that while Descript could be seen as a competitor to more traditional editors, which it can be, it could totally replace it in many ways, but it also can be complementary to that workflow as well, which we see is very common, or at least from what I've heard from folks that we talk to, they might use Descript as like the first pass for editing. But yeah, it doesn't have to it's not a binary situation here. You can use it to complement, but it can do a lot of things for you too, where maybe you don't need those traditional editors anymore either. So
100%. Yeah, and I think it just depends on the team and the type of content that you're creating. We've heard from folks they've been able to eliminate some other tools in their tech stack, thereby kind of reducing their vendor footprint. Whereas, some teams they'll do like 80-90% of their process in Descript and then go out to something like Pro Tools at the very end. So it all comes down to the type of content you're creating and your team and what you're most comfortable with. But I think the exciting thing here is that it's just reducing that friction to like even just getting started. You shouldn't have to worry about the tech to be a creator, be a storyteller. It should just be as easy as opening up SquadCast, hitting record, and then editing like a tech stock.
Love it.
Awesome.
You still got more to go through, or should we go back to some questions?
Let's go to some questions. We've got about 8 minutes left, so let's go.
Alrighty. So we have one from Scapo. Hopefully I'm saying that right, but thank you for all the activity you've had in the chat there. Their question is how well does the eye contact or eye gaze handle glasses?
Good question. So I wear glasses and they also have blue light canceling as well. It does pretty well. I would say, run a couple tests like and before you go and like run it on, a 60-minute file, maybe like do a quick record either in SquadCast or you can record directly in as well if you're not recording with multiple guests directly into Descript, flip it on. It does pretty well. Marcelo and Christiana, if you want to drop into the chat too, curious on your feedback as well. A great question.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, speaking of which, Marcelo, Christiana, are there any questions that I'm not missing? Again, I'm over looking at the captions now, but I'm not sure what we've answered yet or haven't. A few of them look like we have gone over, but maybe we just need to add some clarification. So happy to do that.
Awesome. Oh, is there a way to do leveling manually?
There we go.
Yeah, absolutely. So that's the nice thing in Descript. So let me go ahead and this is a good moment to open up the timeline. So Descript can be as easy as you want to make it, but it can also be just as powerful as some of those more traditional DAWs and nonlinear editors. So you can, let's say, if I need to go in here, adjust the levels, I can go into my properties panel. I can adjust the gain here. I can also add in volume automation as well. So if, let's say at the very beginning, let me scoot back here. I can, if I want to add a little volume automation here, if I right click into the timeline, there we go. I can add volume keyframes. And so I can go in there, kind of make some more custom adjustments as needed. And then once I get that second keyframe in here, I can do some adjusting. But yeah, great question and a good opportunity to come into the timeline and do some more of that fine-tuned work.
Awesome. Thank you. Next question, please. All right. If I am currently paying for both Descript and SquadCast, how does that work? Well, you can continue. It's certainly your prerogative. However, that's one of the exciting announcements here is that for two products, you only have to pay for one subscription. So we started the top of this webinar by explaining how to connect your accounts. We also have a lot of articles and documentation to help you through this process. But whenever you're logged in to one of the platforms, for Descript, there's like a remote recording button that you click that will take you to SquadCast and prompt you to connect. Thank you for pulling that up here, Harmony. And the reverse is true in SquadCast, except it's going to be an edit in Descript button, but the flow is very similar for how to connect your accounts. And then, yeah, we'll do everything in the background to make sure that you're no longer paying for two subscriptions.
Yeah. Good question.
Anything to add? Did I miss anything? You're the pro
here. Yeah. So the nice thing is that you can do it from either end. So if you're a Descript user, you can just open up your settings or create a remote recording project and that'll launch you into SquadCast and vice versa. If you're SquadCast only user and not yet a Descript user, go into the SquadCast platform and there'll be that redeem offer at the top of the screen.
That's right. So please redeem.
Yeah.
Next question, please. What is ducking, and when would this be helpful to use? So you really is ducking something that y'all experience at Descript? Because we've had it happen with SquadCast too. That's where the echo cancellation feature comes in. Um, so
Totally.
how do y'all work with ducking at Descript?
So for me personally, when I use ducking, it's usually when and if I want to add, let's say, let's see here. I think Marcella's going to share an article too on this in the chat. But like if I have my script track where you and I are talking, and then I want to bring in some music, for example, let me go to this one here, this composition. Cool. And I'm going to select a range of text here. I can go into audio effects. I have this ducking option, and I've got this at about, I think like 35% or 25%. So it'll automatically bring the music down to that percentage so that you'll be able to hear our voices more clearly. That's how I generally use ducking, but yeah, curious on your feedback, Brock.
Yeah, so I'm actually not familiar with the ducking feature within Descript, but in SquadCast, that's why the echo cancellation button exists, is because having echo cancellation turned on is good in the event that somebody in this recording session doesn't have headphones. It does present the opportunity for audio ducking to occur. It doesn't always have to happen, but sometimes it happens when echo cancellation is turned on and two people are speaking at the same time. It's a setting in the browser where they'll automatically lower or duck someone's audio.
Yeah.
And so it's totally fixable in post-production. But again, similar to the audio drift thing, where maybe that's probably not how you want to spend your time. So that's why we encourage folks to wear headphones, and then if you're wearing headphones, to turn echo cancellation off, because that will prevent the ducking from happening. But again, it's not the end of the world if someone doesn't have headphones, and it's not always a guarantee that ducking would happen. It generally does happen, though, if people are talking at the same time, which, can happen if you're having fun, or, there's some cultures that talking over each other is not considered as rude as I think it is here in the States. But yeah, that's how ducking, that's how we think about ducking at SquadCast. But based on the question, I think it was more about how to use it in Descript. So I'm glad you're here.
For sure. Yeah. So that, I think, to your point, Rock, like you can always fix a lot of that stuff in post, and that's where I would use studio sound to, help with any background noise, and then also utilize ducking as well. And you can, adjust the intensity here as well.
Very cool. Do we got time for another question, or is this it is about that time, isn't it?
We're coming to that. Let's hit one more question, then we'll do our wrap up.
All right. Hit us with one more, please. Ooh, this is a great one.
So good.
Where should I go to learn more about how to use Descript and SquadCast?
Great question. So this is a good opportunity to mention our amazing help center. Marcelo's going to throw some articles in the chat, but in the top right-hand corner, you're going to hit that question mark, go to the help center. It's going to provide information on Descript basic tutorials. There'll also be information on using SquadCast as well. We also do these events all the time. We generally try to do about a couple of these a month. So hit up our YouTube channel. There's a ton of resources there as well. And if you hit any snags, reach out to our amazing support team. They're literally some of the best humans on this planet. So can't shine a light enough on the amazing support team.
Yeah, that's so true. They are delightful. We're truly lucky to have them.
100%. So we're coming to the end. These have been just so many great questions. I want to hit a couple points here really fast. We talked about how to get help. So if you have questions, go to help.descript.com. We would also love your feedback. So if you've been a longtime user or brand new user and there's something in there that you're just missing, tell us. Go to feedback.descript.com. Our wonderful friend Marcelo does office hours on Discord. So hit us up on Discord. Go see Marcelo. Ask questions. He is a Descript expert. And as a reminder, this was recorded. You can go to YouTube after the event, check it out. This was an hour and a half. This was a lot. So no worries. You can always rewatch. And just thank you all so much for joining us today.
Yeah, thank you. We really appreciate it. And Harmy, this is so fun and good to work with you. It's been a pleasure.
Likewise, Rock. Excited we are now one as a team.
That's right. More to come, y'all. Stay tuned.
Awesome, guys. Well, have a wonderful afternoon, and we'll see you next time.
Bye now.
Bye.